Coming up on tonight's UAP News Show.
Blind date from space, Avi Loeb's chilling comet alert, and 3i Atlas updates.
Villarroel's UAP evidence passes peer review and gets published.
And from cover-up to cinema, the Age of Disclosure release date.
Hey there, beautiful souls. It's your girl, Allie, and we are back at it again for another episode of UAP Society's UFO News Show. I'm stoked to get started, so without further ado, Justin, say hey.
Greetings, cosmic enthusiasts. It's Justin here, and let's dive right in. And we have Martin with us.
And this is Martin, yes. Okay, before we get into the actual news show, you guys have 1 day left to enter our UAP Halloween contest. Right now on the Lato Files Discord server, we have a contest going on. You could win a 1-year subscription to Ask a Poll UAP's Substack. You're gonna get all the stuff behind the scenes before everybody. It's a really amazing thing to have if you're into this subject and you wanna stay up to date, get all the deets that's going on in Washington from Congress. Matt Lasso's working his booty off. You guys need to be involved in this. Let's roll the clip and show them what they need.
Okay.
Hey everyone, Allie here, and this Halloween season, we're mixing trick or treat with a little UAP mystery. A generous supporter of UAP Disclosure has anonymously donated a 1-year subscription to Ask a Poll UAPs, founded by journalist Matt Laslo, and we're giving it away to one lucky truth seeker. To enter, just join Lato Files Discord and react to the contest post in the announcements channel with the party emoji, and that's it. Links in the description. Make sure you're subscribed to UAP Society, Lato Files, Seco Activo Podcast, and Ask a Poll UAP's YouTube channels. We'll ask the winner for screenshots as proof. The winner gets a 1-year pass to Ask a Poll UAPs, your direct line to Congress about UAPs and government transparency. Let's make this spooky season about more than just ghosts. Let's chase the truth. Okay, so good luck to everybody who's going to enter, and let's get into the show.
Make sure you enter.
Yeah, you gotta be in it to win it, right? Gotta be in it to win it. All right, up first, blind date from space, Avi Loeb's chilling comet alert, and 3i Atlas updates. Okay, stargazers, hold on to your telescopes because we've got an interstellar speed demon crashing our cosmic party. Tonight on UAP News, we're your mission control for the wild ride of 3i Atlas, the third confirmed visitor from beyond our solar system, discovered just this past July by the Atlas telescope in Chile. If Oumuamua's weird cigar shape and Borisov's comet vibes had you hooked, this Manhattan-sized enigma is leveling up the mystery, and we're here to catch you up fast and drop the hottest developments straight from the observatories. Fresh off its solar conjunction hide-and-seek behind the sun on October 21st, 3i Atlas is ramping up like a rock star before the big show, blasting icy jets towards perihelion on October 29th, where it'll unleash a tail brighter than a supernova spotlight. ESA's Mars probes caught epic glimpses last week, Harvard's Avi Loeb is fanning alien tech flames with new data, and whispers of leaked NASA footage showing massive vessels have the UAP crowd buzzing. Could this be our next smoking gun? Stick around as we unpack the science, the speculation, and what this wanderer means for disclosure. Because when the stars send guests, we seek answers.
Absolutely. If a hurtling comet from another galaxy sounds like a sci-fi thriller, Harvard's Avi Loeb just turned up the volume. To kick this story off, the renowned scientist, who's long flagged interstellar visitors as potential alien tech, joined Elizabeth Vargas Reports on News Nation to unpack his latest eye-popping observations on 3i Atlas, our solar system's uninvited blind date. Loeb warns we should be cautious, comparing it to swipe right on a stranger. You assume they're friendly, but watch out for serial killers.
This is the perfect season, the perfect time of year for him to say that.
Exactly. Let's roll this clip and let's see why this cosmic speedster has Loeb and us on high alert.
Avi Loeb joins us now. He's the head of the Galileo Project, director of Harvard University's Institute for Theory and Computation, and author of the book Extraterrestrial. Okay, Avi, we've had you on so many times. I always love talking to you about this. Any more of a clue as to what this thing is or is not?
Well, we are still waiting for NASA to release an image, the highest resolution image with 30 kilometers per pixel that was obtained on October 2nd by the high-rise camera on board the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. We are seeing the anti-tail that was pointed towards the sun, opposite to what we see in the context of Comet, and now changing direction and going away from the sun, the more conventional way. We don't know what the reason is. And as you pointed out, we see some unusual composition of nickel with very little iron that we only find in industrially produced nickel alloys. And the size of the object, it's at least 1,000 times more massive than the previous interstellar objects we've seen. And the question is, why is such a giant object delivered to our inner solar system when we saw only small ones before? And it comes along the plane of the planets around the sun, and it comes close to Mars, Jupiter, and we just have to monitor it. And gladly, yesterday, the International Asteroid Warning organization network decided to have a campaign starting on November 27th until January 27th, where it will coordinate using all the assets we have on Earth and in space to get as much data as possible about this mysterious object. And, that would be a great blessing, irrespective of whether it's natural or technological. But if it happens to do a maneuver when it comes close to the sun, the way spacecraft do, using gravitational assist from the sun, that would definitely affect the markets, the financial markets, and politics on Earth.
Why? Because everybody will suddenly feel like, uh-oh, we've just been invaded? I mean, because if it does a maneuver around the sun, that would show it's not a natural object, right?
Yes, it will be a technological signature, but it could be also a mothership that releases mini probes that maneuver. And so I tasked the research team of the Galileo project. We have 3 observatories monitoring the sky to check for any unusual activity in the coming months. We have also orbiters around Mars that could check for unusual activity there. So I think we should keep our eyes open and not assume anything, because it could be a black swan event where something that looks natural at first ends up being like a Trojan horse, and because the implications are so huge for humanity, we must consider it seriously.
And you just put an article at it, like literally just posted a few minutes ago. I wonder, the last line of this article you write, 3i Atlas will get closest to Earth on December 19th, 2025. Here's hoping that by then we will know more about our dating partner in this interstellar blind date. Are you the only person? Are there other people who are sharing your concern about what this object is and about the possibility that it could be something that is not natural?
Oh, definitely. There is a huge amount of interest. I was just invited to Washington, D.C. to speak with Congress people and others. I'm speaking with Joe Rogan in a couple of days on his podcast. There is a lot of people who really want to learn more about it. There is also misinformation, of course, but the beauty of science is that we should be guided by data. And this is an excellent opportunity also to attract young people to science, because it's exciting. And the implications of the findings that we will have in the coming months could be very significant, and we should do the same for future objects of this nature.
Yeah, Joe Rogan.
I should
Joe
say
Rogan's
one more
really
thing.
big into space,
I should say one thing about blind dates. You often assume that the partner, the dating partner, would be very friendly, but you have to worry about the serial killers as well.
Okay, Avi Loeb with a lot of warnings for everybody tonight. Avi, you're one of my favorite guests. Come back soon once we know more. You're always welcome here.
I just love Avi Loeb. I don't know about you guys, but
Tell us why, though.
I mean, because he's funny, he's intelligent. I mean, he's obviously taken a serious look at 3i Atlas, and he's willing to speculate on what it potentially could be.
Yeah, I just love him for the fact that he's like thinking outside the box and encouraging
Absolutely.
everybody else to do it too, because all of these other people or scientists that are pushing back saying, oh, you're not doing this the right way, you're making a mockery of the scientific method. It's like, no, the whole foundation of science is to be curious. Like you can't go into an experiment thinking you already know what the results are going to be, because then you're going to have like a biased result. You have to go in and just allow things to unfold. And I love that he's open-minded.
There's nothing that turns me off more than somebody lecturing me on how we should be or how we should think. And for somebody to say that we should not even have the thought that this could be something anomalous, you know, because all we've seen are rocks in the past. So everything is basically a rock. So that's what this is. You know, I feel like those people are very close-minded. I mean, they might have a PhD or they might be a doctor, but you know, they're incredibly dumb if they're unwilling to have the curiosity to go there and you know, at least have the conversation that, hey, what if this turns out to not be a rock? Then what?
I honestly think it's scarier to be closed-minded to all the different possibilities than it is to ponder this being some sort of alien tech.
Right. Exactly.
Loeb's comet caution has us all scanning the skies. Who's betting 3i Atlas is more than meets the telescope?
Let us know in the comment section below what you think it is.
All right, imagine swiping right on a galactic blind date that's hurtling our way. Only this time, NASA's Europa Clipper and ESA's Hera are the wingmen crashing the party. In this next clip, Christina Gomez is here with the scoop on 3i Atlas's big break. 3 probes are lining up for a tail-sniffing rendezvous that'll analyze its interstellar dust like cosmic forensics. Plus, fresh UFO buzz that'll have you questioning if it's tech, trash, or just a really lost space tourist.
Let me walk you through what makes 3i Atlas so unusual. First, you have the mass. According to Loeb's calculations from October 11th, this object weighs more than 33 billion tons, at least 1,000 times more massive than previous interstellar objects. But when Loeb calculated its gravitational pull, something didn't match. The gravity is far weaker than what it should be. When 3i Atlas passed Mars on October 3rd, its gravitational effect was so small it could barely even be measured. And this suggests the object is either hollow inside or made of material much less dense than anything that we've ever seen on Earth. Second is the composition. Spectroscopic analysis from the Very Large Telescope showed 3i Atlas contains virtually no dicarbon, the molecule that typically causes comets to glow green. Without it, 3i Atlas should not be glowing green. Yet photographs from early September show a green hue around 3i Atlas. The object has also expelled massive amounts of nickel with almost no iron. Every other comet ever studied shows these materials in roughly equal ratios. This object breaks that pattern completely. Third is the trajectory. 3i Atlas travels within 5 degrees of the elliptic plane, the flat disk where all planets orbit. The chance of an interstellar object randomly aligning that closely is about 1 in 500. Then, imaging from the Nordic Optical Telescope confirms that between July and September, 3i Atlas completely reversed its jet direction. Material that was shooting towards the sun, creating an unusual anti-tail, transformed into a normal tail pointing away from the sun.
We are seeing the anti-tail that was pointed towards the sun, opposite to what we see in the context of comets, and now changing direction and going away from the sun, the more conventional way. We don't know what the reason is.
And of course, there's more to the story, so don't go anywhere. According to Loeb, this creates the perfect setup for what is called an O-berth maneuver. There is a principle in spaceflight where if you want to change your speed or direction in space most efficiently, you do it when you're moving fastest, and you move fastest when you're closest to a massive object like the sun. For 3i Atlas, this optimal window will occur on October 29th, 8 days after it passed behind the sun on October 21st. The object is now completely hidden from Earth-based observations during the single most efficient maneuver window for any interstellar arrival.
There is also a possibility, if you imagine the gases coming out of 3i Atlas having a technological origin, perhaps the object is preparing to do some kind of a maneuver and changes the outflow. I mean, at the moment, obviously, it would be most natural to assume that it's a comet of natural origin, but we should keep our eyes and check what it does.
And this is all happening while 3I Atlas is being hit by a coronal mass ejection, according to observations of the sun. But here's the real thing to watch for. The International Asteroid Warning Network, a group associated with the United Nations, has mobilized a coordinated global observation campaign between November 27th and January 27th. This is the same network that monitors objects posing potential Earth impact threats. According to an official circular issued by the Minor Planet Center on October 21st, this campaign aims to obtain precise positional measurements of 3I Atlas. It's also worth mentioning that on August 15th, 1977, the Big Ear radio telescope detected a powerful 72-second narrowband at the hydrogen line frequency, and it was quickly labeled the WOW signal due to its very unusual characteristics. According to Loeb's analysis, 3I Atlas came from approximately the same direction in the sky as the WOW signal.
And I checked it. Turns out that it came from about the same direction in the sky as 3I Atlas, within 9 degrees. And the chance for a random alignment of the two directions of 9 degrees or so is 0.6%.
So here is what we need to look out for the coming weeks. The Europa Clipper encounter happens in the next 2 weeks, where the spacecraft will pass through the ion tail and capture data using plasma instruments and magnometers to detect any unusual materials or signatures that do not match natural cometary composition. The European Space Agency's JUICE spacecraft will observe it in November of this year, though data will not be available until February of next year, followed by the object's closest approach to Earth on December 19th of 2025, and NASA's Juno spacecraft observations during a Jupiter flyby on March 16th, 2026. Scientists, space agencies, and the public are all watching this very closely. The data exists, the observations are happening, and by January, according to Loeb, we should have a good idea about the nature of this object.
I don't know about you guys, but I always like watching Christina Gomez break down new news stories.
Yeah. Oh, and since I'm glad you said that. Thank you for reminding me. Christina Gomez, congratulations on just reaching 100,000 subs on YouTube. What an amazing accomplishment. Good job, girl. Keep going.
But yeah, so I mean, that brings up some pretty interesting questions or, observations that are going to happen, in the next coming weeks.
Yeah, I mean, Avi Loeb made that comment about going on vacation before October 29th, and we're recording this on the night of the 27th. This will probably be out by the 29th, so we missed that window.
Yeah, oh well.
We missed that window.
But, it is very curious that the newest imagery of it hasn't been released to the public yet because of the government shutdown. That's happening. I mean, they have the images. There's been a very select few people who have seen those images, but they need to release them.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for that. Another curious thing is the International Asteroid Warning Network has been triggered. Why do that unless you think that this object deserves the attention?
I mean, obviously something is going on. Everybody is talking about how coincidental it is that NASA, goes on this government break thing. Obviously NASA didn't decide, it was decided for them. But the point is that like all of the non-essential workers are not working right now. So, I mean, only the essential people are there and they're holding down like the main frames of what NASA's requirements to stay running are. They don't have time to do all these putting pictures together, putting a press release together, having somebody go and make this kind of announcement. But we know that they have the information. So it's just like, duh.
It is, right? It's so frustrating.
I know. It's like super bad timing. I don't know. Maybe it's convenient timing. I guess it depends on which perspective you're looking at this from, but who knows? All right. Hold on to your cosmic coffee because the sun just yeeted a coronal mass ejection at 3I Atlas like a jealous ex crashing your blind date. This next tweet from Stephen Burns spills interstellar tea that's hotter than a solar flare. Let's take a look. It says, boom shakalaka bullseye. Huge CME launched from the sun's far side directly towards 3I Atlas in superior conjunction with the sun today, 10/21/25. The halo CME is skewed in the direction that 3I Atlas is shooting towards. Impact in 3 to 4 days just before perihelion on 10/29. And again, by the time this video comes out, it'll probably be 10/29. So just keep that in mind. So let's take a look at that CME now. And that wasn't the only CME that 3I Atlas has been blasted by. I read somewhere online, I think I saw something about that it's been hit by 11 different ones or 12 different ones. I don't know. Maybe I have to look deeper into that to know like if that's actually accurate or not. But the point is that there's all of these weird anomalies that are going on with this thing. Either its trajectory or its composition or its color or its light or where the light is coming from or which, it's just like there's all these things that are all adding up to weird AF.
Yeah. We've never seen anything like this before. And I'm happy that they are trying to study it in such a way to get as much data as possible so that we can figure it out, so that we, can possibly be able to tell whether or not it is something technological or if it is, rocky or whatever.
Right.
I'm happy that they're studying it.
Same. And I hope that we get even more information. So the sun just slapped 3I Atlas with a CME like it caught the comet flirting with our solar system. Talk about interstellar space drama.
Yeah.
All right. And to add to this epic space saga, NASA is playing coy again, activating their planetary defense network for 3I Atlas without a peep. Tucked in an MPEC bulletin, it's the Minor Planet Center's subtle bombshell screaming, "We're on alert." That's what we were just talking about. Is this comet just passing through? Or did we wake the space cops? Let's check this out.
NASA quietly activates planetary defense network for 3I Atlas without saying a word. Buried in tonight's official MPC 2025 U142, the Minor Planet Center's internal bulletin is an editorial notice that says it all. Announcement of IWN Comet Astrometry Campaign November 27th, 2025 to January 27th, 2026. The campaign will target Comet 3I Atlas, C/2025N1. Be clear that this is not a Reddit rumor. For Chan Leak, this is straight from the IU, hosted on Harvard's Minor Planet Center, issued on behalf of NASA's International Asteroid Warning Network, the same group that coordinates global tracking in planetary defense scenarios. So this is what's happening. For the first time in history, an interstellar object, namely 3I Atlas, has been formally enrolled in a planetary defense level observation campaign. They're calling it a, quote, test of improved astrometry methods, end quote. In other words, the object isn't behaving like it should. The bulletin admits it. Cometary bodies are extended, features that can systematically pull their centroid measurements off their central brightness peak, meaning that the light and the mass don't line up. Exactly the issue astronomers have been speaking about for months. 3I Atlas's photometric center is offset from its orbital predictions. Here's the timeline they quietly outlined. Workshop November 10th. Kickoff meeting November 25th. Global observing window November 27th to January 27th. Closeout telecon February 3rd. That window covers perihelion through Earth's near pass, when 3I Atlas will be closest, brightest, and most unstable. So, after months of near total silence, NASA, ESA, and the IU just activated the Planetary Defense Network, but they did it under the cover of an astrometry exercise. No headlines or press kit. Just a quiet admission that the world's largest observatories will now point at one object. 3I Atlas. Let's be clear about this right now. This isn't normal. The IWN doesn't organize global campaigns for routine comets. They test coordination on bodies that matter, potential hazards, anomalies, or high-interest targets. And you don't need to improve astrometry unless your target refuses to follow standard math. So yes, they finally broke silence, but instead of a briefing, we got a bulletin, and instead of transparency, we got a PDF at 21:08 Universal Time. They can call it a training exercise all they want, but when every telescope from Mauna Kea to Chile is being synced on one object, that's not a drill.
So again, like, what do they know that we don't know, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, what's going on?
And speaking of activating the Planetary Defense Network, Dr. Michio Kaku took to Twitter with this post that says, 3I Atlas is a mysterious interstellar object noted for its hyperbolic path toward the sun and very high speed relative to the solar system. In mere days, 3I Atlas promises to yield new information and perhaps new questions. I appeared on Newsmax to discuss these developments.
Right now, something is happening in our solar system that's sending scientists scrambling for explanations. The interstellar object NASA's been tracking, 3I Atlas, is roughly the size of Manhattan and has been displaying several unusual movements and features which kind of defy typical behavior of comets. It's even catching the attention of some military analysts. So what does this mean for all of us here on Earth? And what can this mysterious object tell us about what's outside our own solar system? Let's ask physics professor at the City College of New York, and he's a New York Times best-selling author of Quantum Supremacy, Michio Kaku. So this mystery object has been added to the International Asteroid Warning Network. That's the first interstellar object ever to make that list. So I got to ask you, what the heck is 3I Atlas, and why the clouds of mystery around it? NASA's like tight-lipped.
Well, there's a split in the astronomical community. The majority faction says, what's all the fuss about? I mean, it's just a rock from outer space, and it's going to come through our solar system for the first time and then come whizzing back out again. It's the third known object from outside our solar system, so what's the fuss? Another faction, however, says, now, wait a minute. Perhaps this is a visitor, an intelligent visitor from another solar system, and perhaps this week we could have a test of it. That's right. This week, it turns out that the asteroid or comet will be whizzing around our sun, and if it picks up extra energy on its flyby, that would clinch it. That means there's extraterrestrial intelligence involved. So watch for it. On October 30th, starting then, we're going to track it to see whether it gets an extra boost of energy. If so, it means we are being visited.
Oh, so, okay, if it's not a giant rock, and it could be a sign of life out there, something's got to be steering it, right?
That's right. And as it goes around the sun, there's something called the Oberth effect. The Oberth effect says that if you were to whip around the sun, you would pick up extra energy in the process. So we're going to watch for it. The energy in must equal the energy out, according to the ordinary theory. But if that's not true, if there's more energy going out than in, it means that there's energy boost coming from whipping around the sun, and that requires intelligence. And so that's one acid test that we can make. Watch for it. Starting this week, we're going to begin to monitor and see whether or not it picks up extra energy as it whips around the sun.
So it's Wednesday, right? October 29th, I think it goes the closest point to the sun. Is that right?
That's right. That's the perihelion.
Okay.
And at that point, if it picks up extra energy, that's outside the ordinary bounds of the conservation of energy. So watch for it. As it whips around the sun, if it picks up extra energy, bingo. It means there's intelligent life that is guiding the motion of this object.
This is interesting. I love this stuff. So do you think that there is life in the galaxy somewhere? That this could be, what do you think it is? What do you think this thing is?
Well, I'll put my my money on the bet that there is intelligent life throughout the galaxy. Not only that, but I think there's intelligent life in our neighborhood, the neighborhood of the Milky Way galaxy. And so I think that don't necessarily bet the house on it, but I would say that yes, there's intelligent life out there. The big question is, can they visit us? That's the big question, because just to go to the nearest star would take 70,000 years with a conventional rocket. That's how long it would take just to go to Alpha Centauri. So we need something like warp drive. Now, that, of course, is on the wish list of every science fiction writer, but that's what's required if we're going to meet intelligent life throughout the galaxy. Warp drive.
Speaking of Alpha Centauri, maybe it's the Robinson family finally getting back on the Jupiter too. I don't know. We'll find out. Professor, thank you for being interesting, because this stuff can get really in the weeds, but good stuff. Thank you.
My pleasure. Anytime.
I always love to hear from Dr. Michio Kaku. I've been following him for a number of years and actually went and attended some of his talks when he's come to my neighborhood, section of the world. We'll just put it like that. So anyway, he's very interesting to listen to, and definitely recommend going to check him out if you guys don't know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
So yeah, the Sun's CME smackdown on 3i Atlas, is that the universe's way of gatekeeping the guest list? But spoiler alert, we're all invited to the show. Right now, folks worldwide are cranking their scopes skyward because everyone from professional astrologers to your regular schmegular Joe Schmoes is locked in on this interstellar speed star like it's the Black Friday sale of the cosmos. And speaking of backyard astronomers turning pro, check out this YouTuber dialing in his solar Dobsonian telescope for a front row seat to 3i Atlas's glow up.
Connecting telescope. Telescope connected, pointing to the sun. There we go, telescope moving towards more or less the position of the sun, then I will fine tune manually. And then you will see that 3i Atlas is very, very close. The telescope will almost have no movement when I go to 3i Atlas.
Come here. Look how wild it is. The solar limb. It's the edge of the sun. Now we will go to 3i Atlas. Let me try to access NASA. Hopefully it's not down. To get the precise coordinates. Man, it feels like with all that wind, it feels like something is going to happen. It's crazy. Let's copy the coordinates. Let's see the movement of the telescope. Go to. It moved just slightly, and this is the position of 3i Atlas. Remember that what I'm doing is something that people don't do. So I have no reference how to do this with the solar telescope. Solar telescopes are used only exclusively to watch the sun. So what I'm doing is something new. Let me invert the colors. This is the position of 3i Atlas right now. It can be this. This small dot here. Crazy, man. I'm pointing that telescope that you see in the upper right side of the screen. It's pointing very, very... it's almost touching the sun. That's why this is so bright today. And to the position that NASA has on the coordinates of 3i Atlas right now. I'm trying to... Look now. You see the dot here? And something around? This should be a glare, man. It has something in the middle and only one circle and something here. Like, some... It's very faint, man. You see this? Kind of a cone or something here? Guys, I told the coordinates. Anybody, the skepticals, can check the coordinates at 5 p.m. UTC. At 5 p.m. UTC on NASA. So those are the coordinates I inserted. It's all recorded. So I like all clear.
All right, so as you guys see, there's everybody's got their eyes on this. I mean, all of the different telescopes all over the world are looking at this thing. People in their backyards with solar Dobsonian telescopes are looking at this thing. I mean, we're all living on this planet together. We're all on this rock that's just, spinning through space. So, I mean, when something comes into our neighborhood,
yeah, we need to study it. Right, exactly. And we need to be curious and at least be able to ask the question or speculate whether or not it is something anomalous or not. We need to fight the stigma that's coming from the scientific community, and pressure them to try to be a little more curious themselves, I think.
Agreed.
I think it can only benefit humanity.
Same. All right, so from Avi Loeb's serial killer comet caution to Christina's probe party scoop, NASA's stealthy defense activation, and the sun slap CME drama, 3i Atlas isn't just crashing our skies. It's knocking on disclosure's door. With Backyard Joes to pro scopes worldwide locked in on this interstellar wild card, one thing is clear. Whether it's cosmic trash, alien tech, or a galactic hello gone wrong, we're all in on the watch. Keep those telescopes trained, Truth Squad, because the stars are whispering and we're finally listening. Now, as we gear up for the next story, let's ponder a few burning questions to fuel that cosmic chase. First, what do you guys think of Avi Loeb's blind date analogy? Is 3i Atlas a friendly flyby, hostile hardware, or a harmless rock? With planetary defense quietly activating for this visitor, is NASA prepping for impact or something more exotic like alien probes? Shout out Patrick Jackson. That's his name, right? Patrick Jackson? Mm-hmm. Okay, Patrick Jackson, the one who thinks that there's alien probes coming. Okay, and then from the Joe shows with Dobsonian scopes to Europa's Clipper tail analysis, whose view do you trust more for spotting UAP clues in 3i Atlas's cosmic dust? Let us know in the comment section below.
Up next, Villarroel's UAP evidence passes peer review and gets published. All right, UA peeps, if pre-Sputnik skies whispering secrets sound like time travel sci-fi, Dr. Beatrice Villarroel's Vasco team just cranked the dial up to 11. On October 20th, 25, two groundbreaking peer-reviewed papers dropped in top journals, Nature Scientific Reports and PASP, or Publications for the Astronomical Society of the Pacific, unveiling jaw-dropping correlations, short-lived transits on 1950s sky plates syncing up with UFO sightings and nuclear blasts, plus a whopping 22 sigma void of these blips in Earth's shadow, hinting at solar glints from flat, mirror-like objects orbiting us before humanity launched a single satellite. Teamed with their earlier MNRAS stunner, this triptych of astro-UAP sleuthing, vetted by 3 independent peer reviews, poses the question we've all been dying to scream. Were we being watched from space decades before Sputnik stole the show? These aren't wild guesses. They're data-driven dynamite, challenging the nothing's up there narrative and fueling the Vasco hunt for artificial relics in our cosmic backyard. Could these transits be lost probes, alien mirrors, or nukes gone rogue? I don't know where they got that from, but in this story, we're unpacking the stats, the implications, and why this could rewrite UAP and human history.
Okay, to kick us off, a tweet from Dr. Beatrice Villarroel says, wonderful news. Our 2 new Vasco papers are now peer-reviewed, accepted, and published, and they reveal some extraordinary things. We find statistically significant correlations between short-lived transients on pre-Sputnik sky plates, UFO sightings, and above-ground nuclear tests. We show a 22 sigma deficit of transients inside Earth's shadow, consistent with a fraction of these events originating from solar reflections from flat, highly reflective surfaces in orbit before the space age began. Together with our earlier MNRAS paper, these results form a triptych of new methods to investigate UAP using astronomical data. 3 independent high-level journals and 3 independent peer-reviewed processes. These latest results raise a bold question, and yes, you know which. I am so here for what Dr. V is doing. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. She's making strides, you guys. In this next clip from Ross Coulthart's Reality Check, the Disclosure Advocate spotlights Dr. Beatrice Villarroel's stellar breakthrough. Her papers just aced peer review, unveiling hints of non-human orbital visitors lurking in pre-Sputnik skies. As Coulthart dives into the mind-bending implications for UAP and human history, this exclusive shines a light on her trailblazing work. Let's roll the clip and celebrate the stars aligning for truth.
The reason we're bringing Beatrice back today is because there's been a new development. Beatrice, welcome to Reality Check. What's happening? What's the news?
Well, there are actually some good news. So we had 2 papers that were exciting. One about the transient UFO and new connection by Stephen Bruel and myself. And the second paper where we are searching for NHI artifacts by looking for things that look like solar reflections and satellites in pre-Sputnik images. And both these 2 papers have now passed peer review, and they are accepted for publication. In fact, they are published. So they got published on Monday. now.
Wow, so
on the 20th.
you have now 2 papers on UAPs published as peer-reviewed papers. In which journals?
So one is a scientific report, and that belongs to the Nature journals. And the second is publications of the Astronomical Society of the Pacific, PASP, and it's a good astronomy journal.
This is momentous, Beatrice. I know how hard it is to get anything on UAPs past peer review. Doctor, tell me, what could this be? What are these objects?
Well, these are objects before Sputnik 1, when humans had nothing up there. And these things, no matter what they are, they need to be really flat, reflective like a mirror. And I personally don't know anything natural that produces, that looks like that fulfills these requirements.
And am I correct in saying there are literally tens of thousands of these objects that you've detected?
We see that roughly 35,000 transients are belonging to this kind of category, but that is just for the Northern Hemisphere, which means that we would need to have around 70,000 of transients around, for the whole Earth. And from that, we can estimate that maybe tens of thousands to 100,000 of objects around the Earth must have been there.
But it's a reasonable conclusion, isn't it, Doctor, that if these are artificial objects,
yes,
some civilization has constructed them?
Yes, I would say so. It's not ours.
And when your peer review colleagues asked you questions, were they aware of the significance of what these papers are pointing to?
I don't know. We were talking about the technicalities, not about the implications. Isn't that exciting?
Good for you. The implications are this might be the first scientific evidence of a non-human intelligence.
And it certainly is going to be, what I like about this is that we are giving exact methods and strategies for people to explore the UFO question and the question if they are here through just easily available methods that many astronomers over the whole world can work with. And actually, there's also a third paper that was published now in the beginning of August. So we have 3 papers on this topic with the ET probes and UAPs around the Earth, and that are all published in different journals and with different processes. And I think it's very good. It's a very good big step.
Now, Beatrice, I'm going to invite you to do something that scientists don't normally do. I want you to speculate.
Okay.
There's obviously something that you've captured that was there in the 1950s. What do you think it might be? What's in your mind, a plausible explanation for what those objects might be?
So there are different plausible explanations. One is maybe that there is something we don't know about the human civilization, and maybe we had a few rounds already, and
an alternative explanation.
Maybe it's non-human probes that were sent here, like Patrick Jackson. He has this beautiful suggestion of a surveillance network, and I think that it looks very logical. If you have another civilization that is capable of constructing these probes, why wouldn't they send here lots of them? So that's a possibility.
Wow. Wouldn't it be incredible if the discovery of this possibly constructed artificial objects in geostationary Earth orbit was the trigger for something amazing in humanity?
It would be amazing, and I hope it brings humanity closer to each other, because we are living in times when there's so much of geopolitical instability, but we need to stop fighting in between each other and start embracing humanity and protecting humans, because we are not alone here, probably. As far as I see it, I think we never were alone, and then we need to just collaborate, try to find peace in the best possible way.
Well, Dr. Beatrice Villarroel, thank you so much for joining us here on Reality Check, and congratulations on achieving peer review on such a stigmatized and often ridiculed subject. I actually think this is quite an historic moment to see somebody of your reputation as an astronomer being able to get papers accepted for peer review in prestigious scientific journals. Many, many congratulations.
Ross Coulthart and Dr. Villarroel just handed us the keys to the cosmic time machine, the pre-Sputnik skies buzzing with potential non-human watchers. That's not just peer-reviewed gold, it's the disclosure spark we've been chasing. If Vasco's transients are artificial glints from orbit, the stars have been spilling secrets longer than we thought.
All right, now get ready for a plot twist that'll have your head rolling. YouTuber Sabine Hosenfelder, the queen of cosmic eye rolls and voice of Show Me the Data, is cracking the door on Vasco's orbital enigmas. Usually quicker to debunk than a bad sci-fi flick, she's peering at these pre-Sputnik sky ghosts with the same wide-eyed wonder as us disclosure diehards. If even she's hooked on non-human hints from the stars, what does that say?
Today I have a group of astrophysicists who found the most convincing evidence of unidentified aerial phenomena that I've seen. They found a total of 5 such transients, and they aren't single dots. They are configurations of 4, 5, and in one case 6 dots in a row. And one of those with 5 in a row is dated to July 27th, 1952. No, that isn't my birthday. This is the weekend of one of the famous Washington, D.C. UFO days known as the Washington Flap. On this day and also a week earlier, air traffic controllers at the city's main airport and a nearby Air Force base said they saw things on radar that shouldn't have been there. Some pilots and people on the ground also reported unusual lights. The fuss was big enough that the Air Force held a press conference on July 29th and blamed atmospheric phenomena.
We can say that the recent sightings are in no way connected with any secret development by any department of the United States.
But back to the astrophysicists with their papers. They also look at all these transients, so not just those that appear in multiple scans. From this, they find that the transients are far less likely to appear in the Earth's shadow. This is statistically significant at 22 sigma. What this means is that the transients are likely to be from something that reflects sunlight, and it makes it unlikely that it's something to do with the camera. If that wasn't already confusing enough, in the other paper, they look at correlations between all transients and reports of unidentified aerial phenomena and nuclear tests. They find a weak correlation with UAP reports, but that transients were 45% more likely within a one-day window around a nuclear bomb test. This pattern is hard to blame on bad film alone. They consider different explanations in the paper, such as foreground objects, but these would be much more blurry, or camera glitches, but these would not disappear in the Earth's shadow. It could have something to do with the nuclear fallout, but again, why would this disappear in the Earth's shadow? Beatrice Villarroel, one of the authors of both papers, told me by email, "With my existing limited knowledge, these objects look highly artificial to me. Only something really planar and reflective can give off those transients. Any round or rough body would result in streaks, and I'm thinking mirrors, glass, or polymers. But who put them there at those high altitudes? It's open for speculation. It's possible, but it seems highly unlikely to me that any nation had multiple satellites in the sky before the Russian Sputnik launch. This is because it isn't all that easy to launch a rocket without anyone noticing, and you can't do it from anywhere either. It's possible that these objects are of natural origin, but then what are they? Or are they image artifacts that are more likely to occur in sunlight? Maybe something to do with solar wind? I don't have a good explanation, and honestly, I don't have a strong opinion about this one way or the other. I just find it very curious. Even if this is a natural phenomenon, it's very curious. 5 dots in a row? That's very disciplined dust. What do you think about this? Is it aliens?
All right, I don't know about you guys, but I am super happy that Sabine has taken a very serious look at this and not just treating it as most other astronomers are treating it.
I'm honestly new to her content, so I really didn't have a preconceived opinion about what type of opinion she tends to lend to this subject. But I did see other people saying that she tends to be a skeptic, and for
Very much so.
for her to be speaking about this subject in the tone and the cadence that she did, it's like, it's like oh wow, so she's actually taking this seriously this time. She's not like Mick Westing the shit out of it, So that's cool.
Absolutely, and I think more astronomers should be like her, and when new data presents itself, they should change their opinion, or they should incorporate the new data into their viewpoints.
Yep.
If you will.
And I mean, all of the information, just like Dr. Villarroel said in that video, she's put it all out there for other people to replicate. And in fact, she encourages other people to replicate it just to see if the data correlates or not. And she's not only looking at stuff from the Palomar Observatory in California, but she's also encouraging other observatories that may have plates from the same time period to look at their stuff in the same way that they did to see if they find the same things.
Absolutely. I'll be honest with you, and I said this before on a previous episode, but I think that this paper is one of the most important discoveries of our lifetime.
A lot of people.
I stand by that statement. Especially now that it's been peer reviewed and accepted into very prestigious journals. It means that there's definitely something going on. Most likely could be alien mirrors. I don't know.
Alien mirrors.
Right. Alien mirrors. Yeah. I mean, okay. It could be something natural, right, that we don't know or understand yet, but it
could be, sure.
Yes. It's highly unlikely. I mean, this study that she has done, I think rewrites the history of humanity.
And it's probably why people try to keep a lid on this stuff, because they don't want to have to think outside of their box. They don't want to have to rewrite their paradigm. They don't want to have to realize that reality is not what they thought it was. So for a lot of people, they're just not open to accepting new information, flat out, point blank, period. They're just not. They're like, oh, you think that we had stuff, blah, 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 blah. They stick their fingers in their ears and they stop listening. And I mean, it's unfortunate, but if you do a YouTube search or a Google search for Dr. Beatrice Villarroel's name, she is a top search result right now. I mean, she's making the rounds. I highly recommend you guys going and checking out her interview that Jesse Michaels did with her recently. That was really good.
In case you haven't seen it.
Right, yes. And I'm just glad to see that people are talking about it. I mean, between Avi Loeb's papers and Dr. Beatrice Villarroel's papers, we're giving everybody a lot to think about, or not me, not we. They're giving people, they're giving us, thank you for saying that better than I did. They are giving us a lot of things to think about, and I'm glad that people are talking about this. I really, really am. I feel like this is going to push the ball forward, move the needle forward, however you want to word it. I think it's going to be a positive thing.
And the fact that they are making correlations between these transients and UFO sightings, well-documented UFO cases or sightings, along with nuclear tests, is just phenomenal to me. It's mind-blowing to me that they have actually made that correlation, and there is a statistical significance to those correlations, which in my mind is pretty profound.
Yep, I agree. Dr. Beatrice Villarroel and her Vasco trailblazers have just etched their names in the stars. 2, or actually 3, peer-reviewed powerhouses in Nature Scientific Reports and PAPS unveiling correlations between pre-Sputnik sky flashes, UFO reports, and nuclear tests, plus that mind-bending 22 Sigma shadow void pointing to reflective orbital visitors long before our first launch. Joined by their MNRAS gem, this triptych of rigorous scientific, vetted across 3 top journals, doesn't just challenge history, it lights a beacon for UAP truth, proving astronomical tools can decode the unknown with precision and passion. In a world craving cosmic clarity, Villarroel's work whispers a bright promise. The veil is thinning, disclosure is dawning, and humanity's gaze upward has never been more hopeful. Now, I want you to ponder these things. What do you make of Vasco's pre-Sputnik blips? Alien mirrors, spying on us, or unfortunate plate defects? Considering the spike of UFO sightings correlating with nuclear tests, do you think our bombs summon star travelers, or is something else at play? How do you think Dr. Beatrice Villarroel's work passing peer review and getting published will affect the field? Will she get pushback, or will others replicate her work? Sound off in the comments section below and let us know.
And for our last story of the evening, from cover up to cinema, the Age of Disclosure release date is here.
Yay! Finally, we've only been waiting since January.
Right. All right, UFO squad, mark your cosmic calendars because the veil-ripping doc, The Age of Disclosure, blasts off November 21st, 2025. Your front row ticket to the truth storm. This isn't your grandma's UFO flick. It's a revelation rocket fueled by 34 heavy hitters from U.S. government, military, and intel circles. Spilling the beans on non-human intelligence, a multi-decade cover-up, and a shadowy arms race to crack alien tech blueprints. Picture insiders like the legendary Jay Stratton, teamed with powerhouse producer Dan Farah, who didn't just crack the door, they dynamited it off the hinges.
Kick in the door, wave in the 4-4. All you heard was Papa Don't Hit Me No More. Shout out NYC, Biggie Smalls represent.
Oh my God.
Okay. Had to. All right, to get this ball rolling, let's start with a tweet from the Age of Disclosure that says, "The truth is coming 11/21, worldwide on Prime Video and in select U.S. theaters. An explosive documentary that reveals an 80-year global cover-up of non-human intelligent life with testimony from 34 U.S. government insiders." Let's take a look at that trailer.
The American people are ready to receive the truth.
Humanity is not the only intelligence in the universe.
Humanity is not the only intelligent species.
We are absolutely not alone.
Non-human intelligence exists.
UAPs are real, they're here, and they're not human. I spent 25 years as a senior official with the CIA.
I worked on highly classified UAP programs.
28 years as an astrophysicist.
I served as the 4th Director of National Intelligence.
Director of Aviation Security in the National Security Council.
A 1-star admiral after 32 years of service.
People that come forward with this, I feel like they've taken their life in their own hands.
I was recruited to a highly sensitive government program that investigated unidentified aerial phenomenon.
For over 16 years, on behalf of the U.S. government, I worked as a senior intelligence official on the unidentified aerial phenomenon topic.
We learned that the U.S. government was involved in a long-running secret war with other nations to collect and reverse engineer vehicles not made by humans.
I have seen with my own eyes non-human craft and non-human beings.
So look at that thing. It's rotating. There's a whole fleet of them.
The first country that cracks the code on this technology will be the leader for years to come.
China has established its own version of a UAP task force.
You think for a second that they wouldn't consider using it to achieve their ends of domination?
This is similar to the Manhattan Project. This is the atomic weapon on steroids.
This is so secret, very, very few people in our entire government have been allowed access to it.
Even presidents have been operating on a need-to-know basis, but that begins to ramp out of control.
It's not acceptable to have secret parts of government that no one ever sees.
You better be careful about a government that doesn't trust its people, because there's no telling what they'll pull on you.
This is the biggest discovery in human history.
You had information being locked away that could change the trajectory for species.
It has so many beneficial impacts, including clean energy.
We should have disclosure today. We should have disclosure tomorrow. The time has come.
What else you want to know?
And in the reply section, UFO whistleblower Jeff Nusatelli says, "It's go time, people." And that red square emoji is not lost on me either, Jeff. I see what you did there. See what you did there.
Additionally, Jay Stratton, who appears in this film, had this to say: "The Age of Disclosure is the most credible and revealing documentary ever made about the cover-up of non-human intelligent life, UAP, and the U.S. government's involvement with these matters. Everyone should watch this film and learn the truth. Congratulations, Dan Farah. You truly made a monumental and unprecedented film. It's a landmark contribution to disclosure and will change the course of history."
Whoa. Whoa. Seems like we're talking about a lot of things that are going to change the course of history on tonight's show. Am I right?
Yeah.
Whoa. And we're not the only ones that are talking about this either. On X, The Good Trouble Show with Matt Ford says, "The Age of Disclosure is getting some heat on CNN. It's time for the Trump administration to deliver on UFO/UAP transparency."
Lydia,
Okay, I've gone down the rabbit hole. I want to know about ETs. This was one promise of the administration. We get more visibility. There's a big documentary, The Age of Disclosure, that's coming out on Amazon Prime. I actually don't know what the Chiron says. I don't know that ETs exist, but I think they could. And I think that the government isn't telling us everything they know. So I hope we get a little bit more visibility here. Okay, all right. Go ahead, Tim.
So it's good to see people are reposting that mainstream media is actually covering this topic to an extent, even though, they don't cover it as much as I think it needs to be covered or deserves to be covered. There's still some people in mainstream media that are talking about it. And I think that's ultimately a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I had a little bone to pick with the fact that the segment that they featured this conversation was called Lydia's Unpopular Opinion, like making it seem like Lydia's off on some weird tangent somewhere and we're just about to hear what she has to say. It wasn't as serious as I would like it to be. However, they're talking about it, so got to take what you can get, right?
Yeah, and, ultimately it is a good thing that they are talking about it because it gets the message out to more people and gets them thinking, in this type of way. So I think it's a good thing for sure.
Agreed. If the age of disclosure is the holy grail of truth bombs, Lester Nare is about to hand you the treasure map. In this next clip, he rolls out the star-studded lineup of 34 U.S. government, military, and intel titans, like Jay Stratton and producer Dan Farah, breaking down why these whistleblower warriors are ufology's MVPs, from cracking down cover-ups to spilling reverse-engineered alien gold. If names like these don't scream game over for secrecy, nothing will. And I want to point out that this is a clip that I actually used back in January when they first released the first trailer of Age of Disclosure. And then we went through the whole rigmarole of they couldn't, whatever. But here we are finally about to get it because they have a release date now. So I feel like it's good to show this because Lester really breaks it down and explains why all these people are so significant. So let's check that out.
So I just want to first start off by pointing out the obvious, which is that we've never actually seen this before, where in a single piece, in a single forum, that we have multiple dozens of senior government officials not simply saying that UAP are real, but that they represent non-human intelligence specifically. Now, for some of the folks that are featured just from that trailer, which is a slice of the total amount of people that are going to be in the final film, it includes the current Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, who is also a former presidential candidate, current senator on both the Senate Intel and Armed Services Committee, and former presidential candidate Kirsten Gillibrand, former Defense Department official, head, depending on what you care about labeling it as, of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, Lou Elizondo. We also have Senator Mike Rounds, who's also one of the other few senators who's on both the Intelligence Committee and the Armed Services Committee. He was also the main sponsor on the UAP Disclosure Act of 2024, which had non-human intelligence defined and referenced 22 times and effectively alleged the executive branch of the federal government of hiding this issue on paper in proposed legislation. He was also the co-sponsor of the 2023 version of that same bill. And he attended our Senate event on disclosure at the end of November's hearing last year. We also have former DIA official Jay Stratton, who was the director of the UAP task force, which came before the now permanent office of the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. And he has never actually said what he said just in that trailer, which is very specifically speak to the fact that he personally has seen both craft and bodies. We also have, which was an interesting surprise, General Jim Clapper, who was the former DNI. There's a lot of controversy around him for folks who are on both sides of the aisle, so I know he's a controversial figure. He has never really made a public statement about this, although there was an interview with Mike Rogers, the former director of the NSA, a couple of months ago where he mentioned that in 2016, he was ordered by Clapper to gather all of the files from the NSA and provide them to him, which he thought was a joke at the time, but obviously it was not. Mike Gold, who was on the NASA UAP study team, who also testified at the November UFO hearing. Admiral Timothy Gallaudet, who's a former director of NOAA, who also testified under oath alongside Mike Gold at the hearing in November last year. Another new face, Brett Feddersen, who is the former director of aviation security for the White House National Security Council. which is again another. This is someone who is at the top of the food chain when it comes to access to intelligence. Jim Semivan, who we know has been out before, has been associated with Tom DeLonge's effort at To the Stars Academy of Arts and Sciences. He's a former senior CIA official who loves to spend time here in Southern California. Representative Andre Carson, who was the chair for the first UFO hearing in over 50 years, when he chaired that hearing, I believe it was in 2022, which is where we had the likes of Scott Bray from the DoD come and provide that hearing messaging. We also have Mike Gallagher, who recently left the House, but he was the former chairman of the House Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party. He's since become a venture capitalist, but was a darling of the Republican Party as a young, fresh face with good energy and new ideas. We also have another familiar face, Christopher Mellon, former Defense Department official, as well as multiple senior government scientists, including some faces we're familiar with, Dr. Gary Nolan from Stanford, quantum physicist Dr. Hal Puthoff, as well as astrophysicist Dr. Eric Davis, who are two of probably the most prominently known PhDs associated with the issue. And again, that's just a short list of the total of those who are going to be featured in this documentary. I think it's going to be a fascinating watch. I'm excited to see it and also see how it changes specifically the dynamics of the DC blob, because it's going to be a bunch of people that they know and recognize that have name ID all in one convenient package, sort of saying the same thing, which will dovetail with our calls for a select committee on UAP to be established, ideally as a joint committee between the Senate and the House, but in either chamber would be sufficient, as in addition to the passage of any number of executive orders for whistleblower protection and for the repatriation of these materials under the control of the federal government outside the hands of either the non-state actor or defense contractors that have been operating this for a while. This is going to start getting interesting.
I always appreciate Lester Nare and his very intelligent breakdown.
Same.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Of things. I mean, he is phenomenally intelligent and just somebody that I highly admire.
Agreed. Now, there is one thing that I am debating about whether or not I want to say, but I feel like I need to say it because it's on my mind.
Okay.
I really, really, really wish that this would have come out before the whole UAPDA got voted on thing.
Sure.
I really feel like this film was delayed, maybe intentionally, to affect the process of the UAPDA
so that it would
getting passed. Right. I feel like somewhere along the line, somebody threw a kink in the machine, somebody threw a wrench into the gears and like grinded this process to a halt. And now look what happened. Like the UAPDA for the third year in a row is out.
I mean,
that's the only thing. I wanted this story to be positive, but it's like, I feel like I have to mention that because I feel like it was done intentionally. And if it was done intentionally, like by who? See me outside.
Right. Well, okay. So to flip the script and put a more positive spin on it.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. What do we know about the documentary so far? What have people come out and said in the trailer?
I know a good quote.
Okay, what?
I have seen with my own eyes non-human craft and non-human beings, and that was said by Jay Stratton.
Yeah, it's all right. So there's one thing that's pretty mind-blowing.
Yep.
Another thing is our current Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, has now gone on the record on video saying that there are these objects that are buzzing our nuclear sites.
We just mentioned that in the last story.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't come out and said that publicly until I saw it on this trailer. So that's something new and very interesting. You know, and I mean, it speaks to the whole entire thing that we've been talking about tonight. And that is that there is something to this, that there is a there there.
There is a there there.
You know, it's been proven by Dr. Beatrice Villarroel's paper, peer-reviewed paper. And I mean, there's just so much evidence and so much data that it's hard to ignore the reality of what's going on. You know, and that is that there are objects in our skies that we don't know what they are.
Right. And you guys know me, I love me a good quote. So you just said the word reality. So I feel the need to quote Ryan Graves right now, who said, the government doesn't have the right to classify reality.
Nope.
And they don't. They don't. Like, point blank
period. They think they do.
They don't.
I feel like they think they do.
But they don't.
Right.
They definitely don't.
Exactly.
The Age of Disclosure isn't just a film. It's the thunderclap ending decades of whispers, with 34 government, military, and intel giants like Jay Stratton and producer Dan Farah unleashing the unfiltered fury of non-human life, epic cover-ups, and the black budget war for alien blueprints. Dropping November 21st, 2025, this Smash the Vault doc proves the truth isn't coming. It's here, roaring for all to hear. Mark your calendars, grab your tickets, and join the revolution, because when the insiders finally speak, the stars listen. How do you feel knowing that 34 senior government insiders are revealing the truth about UFOs? Do you think the public is ready for this kind of disclosure? And if you were part of the government, would you expose the truth about non-human intelligent life, or would you stay silent to protect national security? Kind of like what's been happening for the past 80 years.
It's a good question, actually.
Don't forget to go to the Lato Files Discord server and share your thoughts with the community there. An invite link can be found in the video description box below, along with all of the other sources that are featured in the show in the order that they appear, so make sure to check that out. And while you're in that Lato Files Discord server, please make sure to go to the announcements channel. Click enter on that little emoji contest giveaway thing to win a 1-year subscription to Ask a Poll UAPs. All right, guys, thank you so much. That concludes this week's UAP Society's weekly UAP news show. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. And while you're here, please do us a favor and smash that like button, click subscribe, ring our little notification bell, drop a lovely comment down below, and share the video to spread the good words. Let's raise the collective consciousness together in unity. Alrighty, much love, peace, namaste,
and happy
Halloween. Oh, that was unscripted and perfect. Yes, that was totally off the script, you guys. That was great. Love you. Bye.